Welcome to Popcorn Planet. Boy, have we got a surprising show to you. Look at this panel. Oh my God. We got BJ, that surprise witness, and Mr. Christopher Melcher. I wasn't sure if they were going to both be able to attend, but they were both invited. And look at them. They're both, these beautiful people are here. We are in for a treat as we go through the latest updates that Britney put over on Instagram. And really, I just want to have a conversation because it seems finally we're hearing Britney wants justice. Justice for Britney. She's demanding it. So I thought, what better way to talk about the reality of that with two lawyers here with us. So thank you both for being here. BJ, we just watched your stream. I actually clipped. I was so inspired as I put your both names here. I was so inspired. I clipped that one rant where you basically are just like begging Lou Taylor to sue you so you can go get the deposition, do it all. And bravo, you're not afraid. You put it out there, and that's why we love you, love about you. So. Good for you putting it out there. How are you feeling after that stream and that rant?
I mean, I think my blood pressure is like a little up. It's just like, I just feel like I can't even enjoy a vacation without people not knowing how to act, sending out frivolous lawsuits or letters. And it's just like leaving a little bit of legal knowledge, seeing how people like Lou Taylor use and abuse the law and the legal system, the justice system to bully people and to infringe upon constitutionally protected activities really just fires me up, and it makes me so angry. And so I just get worked up. I wish I could control myself a little more, but here we are.
Here we are, and there you were as you posted this. I have the clip. We'll play it later of her just going off. But you just and Christopher, welcome, Christopher Melcher, attorney at law. Always happy to have you, Christopher. How you doing?
Well, thanks. This is such a nice surprise to have both of you together here. It's so awesome.
Yeah, and this whole thing with Lou going after. So just for clarity, Jordan over at Breathe Heavy had to edit his post for sharing what Britney put on Instagram. And then Perez Hilton, who I hate to defend Perez Hilton, but here I am. We despise Lou so much that I'm here defending Perez Hilton and his right for journalistic integrity. He also had something he had to pull. And now you, BJ, right, you had some Instagram story that literally, I guess because of this photo, somehow Instagram deemed it unnecessary. Is that what happened?
Almost. So I posted this on my Instagram just to say, hey, I'm going to do a video about this, right? And then one of my friends, Alex, shared it on her story. You can like share someone's post on your story. And within a couple minutes, it was deleted, and it said, oh, your content was removed because it violates our guidelines. That's what happened. Mine hasn't been removed. So that's the thing that is confusing to me.
Yeah, it's weird. So what I want to know is more, and you'll notice also, thanks, Steph finally gave me the option so I can display your comments on the show. You'll see on YouTube. I love this feature. If you super chat, you'll.
But also, Andy, I want to say.
Oh, go ahead. You had something else to add.
So YouTube has also yellow $signed that video already as well.
That doesn't surprise me at all. But what I wanted to know from a legal perspective is I heard your thoughts, BJ, but like Christopher, if we're sharing Britney's posts, how is that defamation? Is it?
So, well, I looked at that after the Breathe Heavy took down the thing. So there is this concept called republication in defamation law. So if one person makes, let's say, a defamatory comment for purposes of the discussion, it's defamatory, then somebody else republishes that, puts that out there to their own audience, that could be an act of defamation. But most of the states will recognize a reporter's privilege to just neutrally say, hey, this happened, I'm just saying what happened, without any spice or commentary to it. That's not a republication. But that's what Lou Taylor was apparently claiming or threatening against Breathe Heavy, to say that they were republishing Britney's defamatory comment. Well, of course, that all depends on the comment Britney made of being false and defamatory and actionable. So this is a very steep burden for anybody to be able to sue someone else for defamation, especially on platforms like this, where it's clearly done for purposes of commentary. This is our First Amendment right to comment on this. This is the whole reason why Britney's free. Not taking anything away from Matthew Rosengart, but the reason why Britney's free is because of BJ and other people in the movement who took a great risk to themselves to comment on things that they didn't want commented on. And so this is our First Amendment right. And so even if statements are false, doesn't make them actionable. And so I think Lou Taylor would have a very difficult time. But as BJ mentioned, threats work and intimidation works. And when you have most people don't want to be in a lawsuit, and it's scary, and they bully them into silence. BJ is a warrior, and that's not going to happen to her. But to other folks, that's a very scary thing to get a letter from a lawyer.
Yeah, true. But I guess she even like what's interesting to me is like in the YouTube sake of things, and we're going to get to Britney's post. Bear with us. But now we have two amazing legal minds here. Like on a YouTube post, it does seem like BJ, you exposed her in a way because she has to go through the Google guidelines and basically perjure herself in a way by saying that something illegal is happening. In which case, if she loses, she's in trouble. Like YouTube seems to have a system in place that is protecting frivolous lawsuits from happening because she'd have to put her money where her mouth is. Correct? Do you get that vibe too, BJ?
That's my understanding. I mean, when it happened, of course, as you know, we didn't make it to the step where we did go to court. But I've talked to several YouTubers with far greater subscriber counts than me, and that seems to be the going thought. And so that's just what I think. I'm definitely interested in hearing Christopher's impression and what he thinks on it, though.
Yeah, because Christopher, on YouTube, like when you put a copyright strike down or whatever you're going to do, like they make you go through a lot of hoops, and there's sort of like warning levels, right? And then YouTube puts you both through these levels to sort of acknowledge the fact that you're going to have to then, okay, you're admitting that this is a law, you own it, or whatever the thing is, before you actually follow through and do anything legally. It's kind of a clever way to sort of try to attempt to stop it. It doesn't mean that creators don't get scared still and, oh no, they're going to strike my channel. Like, if you really actually believe in your creator and you haven't done anything wrong, fight those penalties and take it to the edge. If you then have to go through a lawsuit, well then that's a whole nother conversation. But Christopher, it seems like someone like Jordan at Breathe Heavy doesn't have that safeguard, right? He just gets an email, we're going to sue you. It's a lot scarier than Lou having to like actually click on the boxes that say something has happened. Does that seem like the YouTube might be actually in a weird way protecting us, Christopher? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I hope so. Of course, with these gigantic platform like YouTube, you don't know, what's the bot that's doing it versus a human person that's a reviewer. And yeah, it's scary for you as the account holder to have any threat to the ability to publish content on your channel or to monetize it. So that's their way of potentially getting action, getting stuff taken down, or chilling speech, we would call it in the law, without actually pursuing what would probably be a failed lawsuit, is to go to the platform and try and get this taken down. So that could be an effective technique, but ultimately, litigation might end up happening over this. We just don't know and hope not. But most of this stuff, most of the demand letters are threats. They don't cost a lot of money for the celebrity or whoever is, the lawyers acting for to send these things. But how many times they actually result in litigation is probably pretty low.
And BJ, for the record, has she ever followed through on any of it?
No, she removed the copyright strikes whenever I told YouTube that I would really hate for them to be involved in a lawsuit that's going to ensue here because they infringed upon my free speech as well.
Right, but even in general, even beyond you, I can't recall anybody she's actually taken all the way. It's always been the threats, correct?
Well, other than the alleged fan Brian Kuchar, who she did sue with Britney's money.
That's right.
They went all the way up to the point of
he had the website, right? He had the website domain or something.
Yeah, LouMTaylor.net, and it was. I mean, I don't know. I was not in the movement when all of that went down, but from what I understood, it was just like stuff that was common knowledge about Lou Taylor and Britney, like that she was the accounting person on the firm and stuff like that. On the conservatorship, and then the night before, from what I understand, the night before the depositions, she didn't want to go to Atlanta, which is where she had sued, and they kind of settled for what I think $20,000. Again, I mean, where did that money come from? Who knows? But that is the farthest that I know of that she's ever gone, other than, of course, Sam Lutfi, that they went all the way to get the restraining order against him. So like he wasn't able to even talk about Lou, I think, legally for a while, maybe even still to this day. I'm really not sure.
And just so you guys understand, like, so when you click a report, you have to go, you have to select what you're going after. And when you infringe my rights, or you go here and choose what it is, there's just a lot of stuff you have to go. But here's defamation. You have to go there. We click it. There's a lot of legalese and things you have to go through.
I want to say, though, Andy,
to do it all. Go ahead.
She did not come after me for defamation. She came after my videos for copyright infringement because allegedly I had used one of her copyrighted photos. But the reason I knew for sure it was bull and not actionable is because one of the 3 videos that she reported did not use that photo anywhere. It was just a live of me talking about lawyers. So she came after me for copyright, and I knew for sure that that was not copyright infringement. So I was ready to go all the way to court on it.
Well, actually, and I'm because we're reading rules. YouTube does not pull videos because of defamation. They make it very clear. So she can't get you for that, just like she can for other people. YouTube doesn't allow it. It's if you click the option, it stops and says you can't. You have to sort of go do your own leads. But that it does seem like that's why she's selecting other things. She's selecting, infringes my rights, because then when you do that, it's a copyright issue, whether it's a photo or whatever she's claiming. It then goes down to other, submit the copyright takedown request, which is a whole nother can of worms where you have to go through certain things. I don't want to put this on screen. I thought I knew that was going to do it, but it puts your whole address, your number. You have to add the videos, legal agreements. There's a lot of terms here that you have to. I'm a good faith belief the use of the material, the manner, complaint, information, and then there's tons more if you click on the eyes. And Christopher, if you even go on one of your own YouTube videos, you can go. I'm curious your take on it all, but YouTube does at least to give them some credit, because I don't usually do. It's some credit in that it does seem like she can't be as flippant with her stuff here, which is very interesting to me, at least. And it makes sense why Instagram posts and other things are now where she's trying to target next, because she can, whereas on YouTube, she's got to go after a photo she owns or whatever it is, right? And so it's interesting to see just the desperation in my eyes of what she's sort of resorting to. And anyway, so I wanted to go there. I know we don't have a ton of time with both of you, but I wanted to at least go through some of these posts and talk about justice for Britney, which is surprisingly still up on her Instagram. She deleted one, but I'm impressed that she kept the other 2 up. This is the main one. Here it is. Yeah, I want to go just... I'm still trying to figure out these images. Maybe you have an idea, but I've had some fans send me some theories as to why the images, but just quickly to the words. In a world where it's okay to lock your daughter up and make her work 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., no days off, 105 people are in and out of a small trailer home weekly, no private baths, seen naked when changing, drugged, can't even speak or talk, has to be available to treatment people, to the treatment people, and show up every day for 10 hours a day. If not, we'll have to stay longer. Never given a date on when you can leave. 9 p.m. bed every night, like 8 gallons of blood weekly. This happened to me for 4 months after I worked for my dad and family for 13 effing years. I gave my all when I worked, only to be literally thrown away. I was nothing more than a puppet to my family, yet to the public, I just performed on stage and did what I was told to. But it was worse than that, because it was accepted and approved by the people I loved the most. Heartbreak emoji. Looks are deceiving. I must have it nice on vacations, LOL. After 13 years damn straight, I should go. I was treated less than, demoralized and embarrassed. Nobody should ever be treated the way I was. The reason I bring this up is because ending the conservatorship is a huge deal, but come on, that's it? They all got away with it. If you've ever been in shock if you've ever been in shock for 4 months, threatened for your life, you would be upset too. I'm not done. I want justice and won't stop until something is done to those who harmed me. And yes, I was harmed. This is a message to all who have been threatened for their life. You are not alone. And then again, it's an image of, the church. Is that 16? Is that 16 Chapel? I don't know which church it is. Then we have some theories on why, on this. And then is she moving to Australia? She's talked about going out of the country. I'm unclear of the photos, but regardless of the photos, it's another damning and revealing revealing of her trauma that she's been through. And I think just frustration as she's getting fans and people to sort of, who are over the Free Britney movement, sort of like, whatever, girl, you're on vacation, just move on. Not an easy thing to move on. And the other telling thing here is like, it's very revealing, at least to me, where she's like, this happened to me after working for my family for 13 effing years, almost as if like she just thought, okay, I'll work for them and hopefully it'll be okay. Like she was so broken down to the point where she was just giving in and working, which she didn't have to do in the first place, right? I still wonder if she really even understands how effed up all of that was, because Amanda Bynes wasn't working. Like Amanda Bynes was in a conservatorship, and at least she was like at school, and the parents were seemingly doing some stuff that feels like, it was, not slave labor, you know what I mean? Not justifying the conservatorship by any stretch of the imagination, but what they were doing to Britney was trafficking, was slaving, like she was a slave to them. She really was, in my opinion. So all of this sort of still feels like I don't even know if she understands the gravity due to the trauma. But it's encouraging to see her finally standing up and voicing her voice and fighting back and telling people like, you have no effing clue. I love hearing her say it's, I want justice, and I won't stop until something is done to those who harmed me. Christopher, I'm going to go to you first. Sort of what in your eyes is possible here for her getting this justice? Do you feel like we're seeing, a lot of people think it's slow or whatever's going on, we're not getting depositions. Do you feel like this is a sign of Britney getting frustrated and impatient? Do you feel like could be part of the plan for the fans who sort of want justice? What is your sort of legal expertise as you look at this, and people, including Britney, who sort of want to move now? What are your thoughts?
Well, unfortunately, legal time moves at a glacial pace. It's very, very slow, and there's reasons for it, and it is going to take time. I understand her frustration. She wants accountability and wants it now, but it is going to take time. But she has the legal team that's pursuing it, and Rosengart is using a very methodical approach. I saw that at the last hearing where he said, look, I'm not going to go to a trial or a hearing on these issue of all the attorney's fees that they want from Britney until I have all the information. I want all the documents. I want all the depositions done. Then we'll go to trial. He is in no hurry. It's them that want the money. So, whoever's holding the money has control of the litigation. Right now, Britney's holding, fortunately, all of her own money. And so it's the attorneys and Jamie and everybody else that wants money from her that have to actually proceed with that case. And Rosengart could just sit back and say, I'm not going to a hearing until I have all the information from you. Then he's going to use all that information that he's gathering in a defensive position against these fees that they're requesting, and then use that hopefully for Britney's own lawsuit against everyone that she believes harmed her. And then that would open up that front, which is also going to be a long process. So, everyone's got rights, and the process is slow. And this could take years on the civil side to finally understand exactly what happened, get to a jury, hopefully, if it goes there, and get a decision. There's also the criminal side of it that would move separately. But as I've talked before, there's deadlines to bring criminal action for intercepting electronic communications. And some of those may have expired or may be coming up. And Britney doesn't have control over filing of criminal charges. Only a prosecutor can do that or through an indictment process. So we may not see criminal stuff. I would hope that we would get something out of the recording operation that we've heard about. But I kind of think time is running on that if something's going to happen.
Jody here had a question. I thought, how long does Britney have until the statute of limitations then?
Well, under California law, that when you're under a conservatorship of the estate, like she was, Britney's rights to sue were taken away. And so all of the suits that she could have filed within that time, basically were held in abeyance. And I believe it's 4 years from the termination of the conservatorship of the estate that she has to sue people for conduct that occurred relating to that conservatorship. So she has a long time, and that's just a file suit. That's not to actually bring it to trial. So I think Rosengart is doing exactly what he should. It's like, why file a suit now when you don't have to?
Right.
Instead, he's going to say, oh, you want fees from my client? Well, I want your deposition. I want your records. And he's going to get all that information, and then he's going to use that, file a lawsuit, and then he gets another round and saying, well, now give me more documents and give me another statement of other oath in the suit that Britney's now filing against them. Long-term process, long strategy, but I think it's the right way to go.
All right, BJ, I know you got to go, so I just want to get your final thoughts on it all. Give me, if you can, your thoughts on this topic, or just in general, anything else you want to share before you head out.
Yeah, I think Christopher was very thorough. He kind of covered everything that I was thinking. You know, what Britney will sue for, as Christopher alluded to, is kind of also up in the air. Like, you know, she wants justice, but you can't just go to a court and say, justice, I'm suing for justice. You know, you have to kind of sue for something, and each cause of action has its own elements you have to prove. So I imagine that part of the legal strategy going on at Greenberg Tribes right now has to do with what's going to be the easiest what's the lowest hanging fruit, right? Because Britney has a lot of people to sue for a lot of reasons. And I mean, she is rich, but her money's not unlimited. Everybody gets concerned about how much stuff costs. And then of course, like Christopher mentioned, there's like all these criminal things, you know, criminal causes of action that perhaps like some branch of the government could pursue, but they will be limited as well by statutes of limitations. So, I mean, we can also remember, even though we're lawyers and we like to talk about the law here, you know, me and Christopher, there's ways that Britney can get justice that have nothing to do with the law. And I think there's something to be said for her being able to use her voice and express her thoughts. I mean, to me, that's justice, a little bit, you know, her being able to talk and express what happened to her without fear that Lou Taylor or Robin Greenhill is going to send a lawyer down her throat, right? I think that would be justice, just to give the girl a platform where she can just talk. She's deleting stuff all the time, maybe because she's scared. I mean, I think justice would be also included in justice is Britney's ability to express herself and tell, you know, we laugh about it on this channel, her truth and her version of events, because so far everyone has been able to speak. And like Christopher mentioned, it takes forever to do lawsuits. It takes forever. It takes money. It takes energy. But I think we should all encourage her to express herself freely. And that includes even when she posts stuff that maybe we wouldn't post on our own Instagram, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well said. And make sure to go support that surprise witness. Christopher, I have a few more for you if you don't mind. But BJ, I know you had a hard out, so go do what you got to do. Enjoy what you're where you're at, and come back anytime. You know we love you.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for reposting my rant earlier.
Of course, get the word out. I put it on Twitter. She shared it. Get that rant out. Let's get Britney and Rosengart's attention to it. Enjoy your day. And then while we have you...
Talk to y'all later.
You rock. While we still have you, Christopher, for a few, I wanted to ask... can the criminal stuff, like, how long do you think it takes before they at least like file it? Like, do you think they're going to take, I guess they still are waiting. They need to get depositions and stuff before they can do that. Or is that, I'm just trying to understand like sort of the timeline of things in justice, because it seems like even Britney's alluding it. In fact, there was another one, I'll get it up as you're talking, but there was one about Vegas that she sort of took out as well. But it's just clear that they were doing a lot of stuff. But when do you suspect, again, we're estimating, this is total speculation, Christopher doesn't rep him and doesn't work for them, but from a speculation perspective, like, because even though the criminal charge will happen, it still will take time, I get that, but when do you think we could expect her to at least file charges?
Well, so when I looked at it before, there were some, you know, it depends on what crime a prosecutor would allege occurred in this tape recording or interception of messages, sharing of messages. There's various crimes that could be potentially charged under state and federal law if that conduct occurred. And those statute of limitations might be 2, 3, or maybe 4 years at the most. And it goes from the date of the recording. And I was hoping to find somewhere in the law that said that there would be what we would call tolling. And so in some areas of the law where a victim of a crime didn't know and reasonably didn't know, couldn't have known that the misconduct occurred, that they have time after they learn or should have known that the conduct happened to sue. So fraud would be a perfect example. Like you're defrauded, your money's taken, you don't know that you're being defrauded when you sent the money to somebody. And then when you learn, wow, I was defrauded, then there would be time after you learned or should have known that the fraud occurred to bring charges. I didn't see that for the interception of electronic communications, and it's really surprising because by its nature, the victim, Britney, would not know that her communications are being intercepted. That was the whole purpose of intercepting her communications,
right?
Was that she didn't know about it. But I didn't see a tolling statute. Maybe it exists, but some of the stuff may be too old to prosecute. I would imagine that Rosengart and his team would be cooperating with prosecutors and investigators, if there are any on the state and federal side, and sharing the information that they have. But those deadlines are hard deadlines. If you don't file the case within the deadline, it's out. It's going to be dismissed.
So I don't mean to cut you, but that triggers me in a way of like, so she has no idea that she's being secretly recorded. They do it because she's locked in a conservatorship. It passes whatever the 2-year restriction, and suddenly they get away with it. There's no like special treatment, like special case scenario where it's like, whoa, she had no idea. She couldn't even have known about it. But here we have the tapes in hand. Like, there's nothing she could do or Rosengart could do to like go back and ask for special circumstances.
No, if the deadline's passed, it's passed, and that's just one of the things in law is that when we have a deadline, if it hasn't been met, if the law says that criminal charges have to be filed within 2 years of whatever this particular act is, and they're filed 2 years and a day late, after the act, then it's going to be dismissed. So
but even if you don't know the act happened.
Well, that's it. It has to be in the statute of limitations. So these deadlines that we're referring to bring criminal charges are called a statute of limitations. They're all a creature of statute. So any exception to the deadline must also be in the statute of limitations. So what I looked under California Penal Code, where the state statute of limitations resides. I also looked under federal law, and I did not see a tolling. I looked, as best as I could. Now, maybe it exists, but I haven't seen it. So if it doesn't exist, some statutory exception, written in law that says that situations like this, that you could file charges later, then they have a limited period of time. But, so that's the biggest hurdle that a prosecutor would have. But even after that, so say there is something that could still be filed, the prosecutor has an obligation, an ethical obligation, not to file case against somebody unless they have a good faith belief that they can secure a conviction. So even if the prosecutor thinks, I believe this illegal conduct occurred, they cannot file charges unless they also believe reasonably that they can convict the person for that. So there's questions, is there some reasonable doubt? Are there inconsistent statements? Maybe we have a witness that's not credible? So they have to go through that analysis, and that's why, not a lot of cases are filed. It's an enormous power that the prosecutor wields on behalf of the state or federal government to prosecute somebody and potentially have them thrown in jail. So they have to exercise that carefully. My guess is, the focus, I don't guess, my focus, if I were on her side, would be to focus on what you can control. And what Britney can control is filing a lawsuit. She controls the timing of that. She controls who she sues and what she sues them for and the pace of that lawsuit. She has zero control over a prosecutor. And so to me, it would just be frustrating if I were in her shoes, I think, to rely on some prosecutor to bring charges. I think I would just take charge, and like what also BJ said about using her own platform to show like, hey, this happened to me, and so other people would learn from this and be empowered by it.
Well said. And as I wrap up, if you guys have any final questions for Christopher before he leaves, now's your chance. Send them on over and I'll put them on there. You can use the pinned comment link, the stream elements, or the super chats, and I'll get them in there. So thank you guys for that support. But what do you, as we wrap up your involvement, at least of the show, and then Steph's going to come in, we're going to read the other posts, guys. But what is your guess on what the criminal charges could be? Do you think we will see some? I mean, she's claiming, a lot of abuse, right? She was mentally traumatized and put through that. Is there any law that could have been broken, or is that pretty much a civil case that she could present? Like, based on what we've heard or sort of assuming or speculating about of what the family has seemingly allegedly done to her, what charges could you expect, and what do you predict will be the things that they maybe go with?
Well, the thing there's been a lot of attention on this, the allegedly illegal recording, interception, and sharing of messages that we've been talking about. But there's also some allegations of financial improprieties during the conservatorship, and there are tolling for those. So if there was fraud involved in a transaction by a conservator or somebody involved in the conservatorship, and that Britney, could not have reasonably known about at the time, criminal charges could be brought for something that happened quite a long time ago under this delayed discovery tolling rule. So that might open it up, and it would have to be very clear that there was some fraud occurred against her while somebody wielded this incredible power of conservator or one of the agents of the conservator. So that would be the way, that's where my focus would be on, I think, as a prosecutor, because there you have a much bigger length of time, and you also have this duty to protect the conservatorship. So it would be pretty clear if misconduct occurred. So that could happen also. But again, it's like we can see, and I don't want to cross stories here, but look at Alec Baldwin and Rust. I mean, there's no criminal charges filed. And so
not yet,
and not yet, could still happen, but been a long time since that happened, and lots of investigations occurred. So the family, the husband of Helena, is moving forward on his own with his own case, and so to me, like I say, I just for my own inner peace is to try and focus on things that I can control and not focus on things that are outside my control.
Well said. Let's see, a lot of comments. Just one in there. Chris, thank you for all your input and educating us on the situation. Many others featuring here. You're incredible. I concur, D-Nice. Thank you for that comment, and everybody else sent nice support over there. Appreciate your insight here. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you go on over to YouTube and support Christopher Melcher on YouTube. I'd love to have you back. You got to plan that again to get you and BJ on at least every few weeks to break down some of these things. It's always fun to see you guys together. Any else final things you want to add?
No, I mean, we're going to continue following the story. Britney's next hearing is in July, but it's probably going to be a check-in hearing to say, hey, where are you guys at on exchanging information? Are you ready for a hearing? So there'll probably be fireworks in the courtroom like there have been last time, but that's probably a check-in in July. And if we're lucky, we'll see a hearing at the end of the year or maybe early next year on these massive fees that are requested. We also haven't heard much from the mom's fee requests. So, it seemed like maybe a deal would be worked out on that,
with
and that
Lynn,
might not go to court.
Because Jody's got paid. It was a small amount, but you're right. They were still waiting to hear whether Lynn's will. And it does feel like there's almost like a power move there on Team Rosengard and Britney of like, are you gonna let it happen? Do you think there might be some sort of dealing there potentially to see if Lynn throws other people under the bus?
I don't know, and I don't know that Lynn would have the insight onto that. But when I was in that courtroom, every time that Rosengart was interacting with Jamie's lawyer, it was palpable, intense, aggression between the two lawyers. But when it came time for Lynn's lawyer to speak, it was a completely different vibe. Very chill, kind of like, hey, we're probably going to work this out. They agreed. Lynn's lawyer said, look, I don't want to be grouped in with Jamie's mess and Ingham's mess over there. We're a separate situation, Rosengard acknowledged, like, yeah, the issues that we may have with Lynn's fee requests are not the same that we have with Ingham and Jamie's. And so my sense is that they're probably going to make a deal on something, which would be smart for both sides. So Britney can, not that I'm sure she wants to pay her mom anything, but she's got to pick her battles and move forward. Or she might say, hey, not a dime, but she'll direct her attorney and they'll do what's best for Britney on that.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a play there because in some of the more recent posts we were going through just the other stream last week, it does seem like Britney is holding a lot of contempt for Lynn and maybe even revealing that she was more involved than I think people understand she was. There had been previous things we had noticed where she did say it was her idea, the whole conservatorship to begin with. So clearly it's up to Britney on who she sort of really wants to lean, I guess, the hammer on, if you will. Jamie's an easy target, obviously, but I can't imagine the emotional stuff of just, do you really want to turn on your mother as well? It seems like she wants to turn on them all at this point. She said she wants them all in jail, but yeah, that money thing is sort of one last thing out there, and that would happen. That one we'll know pretty soon, right? That's going to be figured out, or could they delay that for another year? All this stuff seems like it could go on forever.
Yeah, I think that may be resolved by July. It was definitely on a different track. And I think it is, financially would be wise for anyone to settle anything, honestly, rather than going through a big court process. But yeah, there is a lot of good reason for Britney to be upset at her mom and not want to pay anything. But again, her lawyer will advise her on what the options are, and Britney will make the best decision for herself on that. But it's been very quiet on that front. So my sense is that that's definitely not Rosengard's priority is to deal with Lynn's fees. The attention is really on Jamie and now Ingham also. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in the next couple months.
We will see indeed, and we will keep you posted and have Christopher back as always. Like I said, the lovely and talented, wonderful Mr. Christopher Melcher. God, I hope I never need another divorce lawyer, but if I do, I know who I'm calling, and I'm never letting you go, sir. You're one of the good ones. You're the best. We love you here in the channel, so thank you always for being here, and keep us up to date if you got anything going on or need to tell us about, and we will have you back on here, get your insight all the time. Again, guys, go support Christopher Melcher over at The Law on YouTube. We love him. You love him. I know you guys love him. And thanks for always for giving us your time, Christopher.
Thanks, Andy.
Enjoy your day. All right, talk soon. It's always a pleasure to have him on here. And Steph's going to join us in a minute as we go through these posts. We got so much to break down on this, as well as some other news I'm going to break down with you guys. Before I clip this for YouTube, though, I do want to go through the other two posts that she did. And I'm impressed. Wait, I hate when it's two of me. Hold on one second. Turn that off. I'm impressed she's kept them. I'm so used to her deleting these like that. She deleted one, but she kept this one too. I recorded 30 videos of dance when I was in Maui. That's fun to me. I know I'm not the best dancer. Yes, you're dude. I can't dance like this. Trust me. You're a great dancer. A lot of people make fun of me that way. I move, but honestly, as long as I'm moving and expressing my body outwardly in some way at this point, that's healing to me. Britney, anybody criticizing your dance moves cannot dance like you. Trust me, you are doing fantastic, and I love people. When you see her posting, send her love. It seems to be a bunch of trolls in there, Team Con bots. I don't know who the hell's out there wasting their time bothering her after everything she's been through. It just blows my mind. So when you see her post, definitely throw her the heart and send some love and comments, because it's clear she's letting those bad comments get to you, and we all do. But anyway, sorry, I digress. As she said, I move, but honestly, as long as I'm moving, express my body outwardly in some way at this point, that's healing to me. Therapy is all mind work. I did that 10 hours a day, 7 days a week when I was abused. There's nothing wrong, nothing worse than torture of the mind. Ooh. I'd rather someone slap my face than F with my mind. Dancing, you don't think at all. I know my actions are not perfect, but if you only knew how good it feels to feel with my body, I think it would. I think most would get it. Bear with me. I'm learning. God bless you all. She's got no need to apologize. And there, I love this. Nicki Minaj jumping in there. Not the best dancer. Britney, put your crown back on and leave it there, baby. You are the best dancer. Settled that. What's next? Big SAG energy. Exactly. People need to be stepping up and giving this amazing woman all the props she deserves, because she's been a prop and a puppet for over 13 years. And it's just so sad when I see these and get frustrated, because I just want her to feel so loved and positive, because she is. And yes, as I saw Kara Froman just said, as I use my new feature here, they are just jealous. Jealous housewives too, but they're jealous is what I meant to click. And then I clicked the other one. As I see a lot of you supporting, of course she's a great dancer, always has. I love this feature now. I can feature your comments during the show. Steph finally showed me about Twidget. So love it. So grateful to finally be able to spotlight you guys. And if somebody donates super chats, you will make it in there, and I'll be able to show it on screen. My alert thing on the top. I'm adjusting all the overlays, but stay tuned. Get you guys, getting you guys more involved in this show is my goal. But again, a nice post. She's kept it there. I like when she goes after her family and keeps it there. However, she didn't keep this one. She deleted this one. Wow. Being a guest in Las Vegas is way better than being me. Or wait, is it because my family got to be the stars when I worked in Vegas? I mean, damn, they were given star treatment. Spas, alcohol, the whole 9 yards. But guess what? This was my first time. It was absolutely lovely being treated like an equal in Las Vegas for the first time in 13 years. Huge difference. Moments like this, all I do, look up and say, really, God? All this time? Sad faces. Then I rewind, put some heels on, and I realize I don't have to entertain my family anymore and be their puppet. I'm here to say one thing and one thing only. Kiss my mother effing ass. But not really say it, just reflect it with a smile and a drink in my hand. Stay classy, people, and don't forget to say your prayers. I don't know what this comment. Oh, that was the commenters blowing her nose and giving the middle finger. I don't know why she deleted this one. I like this one, and it makes me sad though, knowing that she didn't get to. She was always just put off to Vegas, kept in the compound, and then trotted out to do her Vegas show, and then was kept on a weird budget. I don't understand. It's like she's like a teenager. Here's your $100 a week allowance, while the rest of them are all going off shopping in big stores, cashing in, cha-ching, cha-ching. They're like, well, you get a little bit. You get a little bit. Don't worry, Britney. The rest of us getting paid like it's our job because we're doing our work here. No, the only one doing work was Britney. And none of you would have had any work if it wasn't for Britney. So the fact that she couldn't go live it up in Vegas while she was working there is insane to me. So bravo, Britney. It makes me so much happier to know that you're finally getting to experience the world as you should, as a pop star queen. The queen of pop. Yeah, I'll say it. I think she is. And finally, to know that she hasn't been able to really reap these rewards is sad. It's really sad. And so I love seeing these posts that she is able to call it out and say, no, I am. I want to break down some of these posts more directly. I want you guys to comment. All that's coming, but I am going to clip this portion of the show so it can stand alone with all the most important information. If you want to watch the full unedited conversation, Steph's about to pop in. I'm going to get more of your thoughts. And we got so much news to break down and theorize, get through all the ideas of what those pictures mean, and get really into the nitty gritty of these posts. Make sure you become a member today. You can hit that join button, hit the join, pick a level. If you can't afford that, no worries. You can always just hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for all alerts. I thought we were done, but we're not. Breaking Instagram post. Britney just posted, it is hard to be a woman. You must think like a man, act like a lady, look like a young girl, and work like a horse. And she added this text. So true, right? Just so people know, my last post of the church symbolizes togetherness, equality, and a place to live freely and worship as one chooses. The star is representing righteousness and your highest self to have the rights to live as one pleases. I honestly didn't know that was a pic of Australia. I thought it was London. There we go. I was confused. Okay. And it was posted because it is my dream to live there. Steph, it's closer than you than me. I took it all down. I took it all down because people don't like the truth. And honestly, it's hard for me too. Oh, I never actually gave 8 gallons of blood. It was 8 tubes of blood. Anyway, enough serious talk. I think I need a vodka tonic. Well, I got to include that because she just answered the question. So there you go. She's was over-exaggerating the blood. I appreciate her clarifying. We have to take that with a grain of salt next time, knowing, right, when she's saying these things. And she didn't mean the CIA, clearly. Unless, is there a CIA... is there something that stands with A for Great Britain and London, Steph? No? All right.
No. Unless you wanna say it as an A-hole, but there you go.
There you go.
We do have a few of them over here.
She might have to work on her geography. Okay, fair enough. Stay on the dancing. Don't call yourself a bad dancer. Maybe call yourself a bad geographer, but hey, we all are. I don't know what the hell half the countries are in the world, so no fault there. But there we go.
Hey, screw that. She wants to move over. My neck of woods. Hey, Britney, as a British representative, lass, we will happily adopt you, take you in with open arms and look after you, lass. You want to move down to London? Come on over. Weather ain't too cracking, but apart from that, you should have a good time, and we'll treat you well, lass. Come on over. You could be an honorary Brit. We'll give you a passport and everything.
Steph, I just put up these chats because I was thinking it too for a second. Everyone else did.
Yeah.
She might be watching. Oh my God, is she watching right now?
It's Britney.
Britney, if you're watching, hail to the Queen. And I recognise the crown, I definitely bow down, lass.
I got your
Hail
Funkos back there. I'm a slave for you, Britney. Any day you want, let me know. We're here for you. We got your back. And you are a great dancer, Britney, if you're watching.
Boom, yes!
And please tell Rosengart to reach out to BJ and that surprise witness. You will not get a bigger ally. And yeah, come on the show anytime you want. We love you, Britney. We got your back, and we hope you do a Vegas residency. Come on. Is Britney in the chat? Show those hearts. Show those pink hearts. Throw them in the chat immediately for Britney. Everyone's like, oh my God, she must be watching. She literally answered our question, Steph.
To be fair, it confirmed what I said. She must have been over-exaggerating 8 gallons of blood. And she did. She confirmed it. So, Britney, if you're watching, we are part of your Britney army. We have got your back every step of the way. We're here to support you. We love you. We adore you. We are so glad you are living, starting to live your best life. And, you know, we're here to make sure it continues and that you're supported every step of the way. In terms of what we can do anyway, our small little contribution to it.
Well, there you go. Britney updated and gave us the truth. We talked about so much more, though, on this live show. So if you're watching the replay and you're seeing it all trimmed up, why not become a member? Hit that join button. Hit the member tier you want. And then you become a member. And then you can go to the channel page where you can watch any of the members-only playlist right there. All the replays and exclusives will all be there for your benefit to watch. Make sure to also support Steph the Alternate over on YouTube. Hit that subscribe, check out her videos, and so much more. I appreciate all you guys for watching. I hope you have a fantastic Monday. We'll be back tomorrow for more here on Popcorn Planet. Bye,